Corona. Hey guys, I hope you're staying safe in quarantine. Stop swiping on Tinder and let's learn how to make some awesome DCS videos. I've been getting a lot of questions about what software I use to record, especially VR footage, and that software is OBS, that's Oscar Bravo Sierra Studio. Today I will show you the quick and dirty basics to record both DCS in 2D and in VR. So let's get started. First you need the software. Open your browser of choice, Chrome, Firefox, Edge if you're a heathen, and go to obsproject.com. This is completely free and completely awesome. Lots of features. I only know the basics, but I'm pretty sure this is what all of the Twitch streamers use because you can record and display multiple video sources at once. For example, your video game screen and your webcam. So get it, install it, run it, and it will look like this. First, let's go to settings. Down here in the bottom right. Okay, most of this is personal preference. The two things I wanted to show you, actually three. Output. So you have streaming and recording. I don't stream that much because I suck too hard. Recording, you have your recording path set. I recommend setting this because I often forget where the hell my videos go. Quality format encoder. So I personally use the MP4 encoder that Shadowplay NVIDIA uses. That just seems to work best with my system, and it works okay with my video editing software as well. You have a lot of other options. I hear MKV is good, but my system just does not like that very much. Same with MOV, because that's for the Apple fanboys. So anyways, that's my personal settings. Video, okay, you can set your base resolution, that's what you're recording, your output resolution, what you actually record. So let me explain that better. The base resolution is, like it says, the canvas, the thing you're capturing, size, and the output, the scaled resolution, is the resolution of the actual video that you save. So I run a 1080p monitor, but I like to record in 1440p because I don't know how or why, but it gives me more crisp detail in my recordings that survives the editing process, the rendering process, and of course when you upload to YouTube, some quality gets lost in their compression. So 1440p recording on my 1080p monitor gives me much clearer, detailed footage. Now in VR, I also prefer 1440 because that gives a wider field of view without stretching. So in 1080p, if I'm flying the Tomcat, for example, when am I not flying the Tomcat? 1080p only records basically whatever is within the canopy frame, from left to right and from about the master arm panel up to the top mirror, and that's about it. If I record in 1440, the view is now expanded to where I get more out of the left and right of the canopy. You can see at least the top half of the VDI and a bit above the rear view mirror as well. Now the FPS values, you can select common values here. You can type whatever you want, giggity. Or you can do fractions, which I don't touch because I failed fractions so hard in high school algebra. Now, the FPS values are, I have a love-hate relationship with them. I love them because my editing software does not like variable frame rates and gets a lot of audio desync issues. I need a constant frame rate. So this is great. But I also hate it because sometimes, especially recently with the 2.55 and the dumpster fire that is 2.5.6 updates on DCS, the frames will drop not too bad, but just a little bit below 60, like say 50 or 55, and that will show up in the recordings. I had some issues with that in my last Tomcat video and my Black Shark video, flying through the trees. That was only at MSAA times 2, and the trees were still dropping me down to probably 50 frames per second, and if you watch carefully, you can see a little bit, like the rotors look like they go into slow motion for like a split second or two. And yeah, those are frame rate drops. So that's why I kind of hate this setting. But considering I don't have to convert my footage into a constant frame rate thing with some other conversion software, it's a bit of a lifesaver. Okay, and the last thing I changed, hotkeys. These are the hotkeys I added to record and stop recording, and you can select them for different displays for different games. Okay, so that's the settings, and while we're here in the controls of the settings, there's the start recording and stop recording button. Now, one thing to be careful about is that when you record, there is no overlay or message telling you that you are recording. You just kind of have to trust that you actually hit the button. The mixer, your audio for your game audio, your microphone. And now the important stuff. Let's go to scenes and sources. You cannot record anything without both a scene and a source. So let's add a scene. And I'm going to name it tutorial. These do have to be unique names, otherwise you get conflicts. And let's add a source. You have a lot of options. We want game capture for DCS. Let's do DCS pancake. Pancakes. And the properties will automatically open. Now you have some options. Capture any full screen application. I prefer capture specific window, but the window has to be open for you to turn this setting on. So let's close the properties, leave OBS open, and let's run DCS in pancake mode. So here we go. DCS is up. We're going to Alt-Tab to OBS. Okay. So now let's click our source, DCS pancake, properties, the gear icon, mode, capture specific window, there it is, Digital Combat Simulator. And a preview will show. And hit OK. Okay, now right now on my screen, preview is currently disabled. Let's right click, enable preview. Okay, now like I said, my screen is 1080p. I record in 1440p. So this DCS box in red is the 1080p. This bigger black frame is the 1440p. So you can just click and drag this, and now I'm recording in 1440p full screen. Now I always turn off this preview because it eats up extra computing power, and you don't really need it unless you're cropping or setting everything up. So I disable that. One thing I should show you. On the sources, this eye icon, if you're familiar with Photoshop and the layers, same idea. Hide, show. So if you hide it, you're going to be recording a black screen. If you show it, you're going to be recording this. Okay. So now I'll disable the preview. Okay. So that is it for DCS recording in Pancake, 2D mode, non-VR. Now I will show you VR. Okay, so we need a plugin. So you will need to close OBS. Go back to your browser. And I'm one step ahead. Google Open VR Capture OBS. And the first hit on Google is OpenVR Input Plugin on the OBS forums. There is some important information here. Read it. Like you may need to install the Visual Studio 2015 64-bit runtime. I think I had to do that. It's been such a long time I don't remember. And the download link is here at GitHub. I hate this site. It is designed by coders for coders. I cannot find the goddamn download button. So I think it's here, clone or download. Download zip, I guess. And here, installation, very important. Read it. I will not show you the installation. It should just be unzip into your folders here, program files, OBS Studio, drag and drop. That's it. So you drag and drop. And now we open OBS Studio again. Now let's add a VR source to our tutorial scene. So add a source. You will see OpenVR Capture is now available. Let's just leave that default. Okay, and now here are the properties. Now again, if you are currently in VR, you will see a preview here in the window. And you have the choice capture right eye, unchecked will be left eye. I always do the right eye because the Hornet and Viper helmet mounted queuing systems are set for right eye only for my VR settings, to be realistic. And also the gun sights in the German World War II aircraft are all right eye dominant. Crop preset, I think I use 16.9 is what I do. Plus my 1440p gives good views. Cropping, I don't think I had to change it, but you can experiment with it if needed. And also in the preview, you can enable the preview and drag this and resize it however you need. So you could actually theoretically record whatever's rendered off to your left instead of whatever's rendered in front of you if you wanted to. I might have to try that. Set that as desired and you're good to go, except it's probably a good idea if you're recording VR, hide the pancake source. If you want to record pancake, hide the VR source. I just record one at a time. And that wraps it up. That's the quick and dirty on how to use OBS to record DCS footage in 2D and VR. Now I want to see your cinematics. Until next time, survive Corona.